Hi everyone, this is Jason Horsch coming to you from Xanadu Gallery in Scottsdale, Arizona. I wanted to do a brief broadcast about the step-by-step guide to build a digital portfolio in Google Drive. Over the last several years, I've seen a shift from printed portfolios to more and more digital portfolios. And so I wanted to give just a brief guide on how you could use Google Drive, which is a free tool from Google to create a digital portfolio that you can use to organize your artwork and prepare to show it to galleries or collectors. The advantage of this format is that first, as I mentioned, it's free. All you have to do is set up a Google account, which many of you will already have. And then go into Google Drive to create a new document, and I'm going to show you how to do that. The other advantage of this format is that it would allow you, if you wanted to print it, you can do that, or you can export it to a PDF document and use it on your tablet or your phone to present your work in a more professional way. Now, you can do the same thing with Microsoft Word, or if you want to get fancy, using Adobe InDesign. I just want to show you some of the basics here, and the reason I'm using Google Drive is because it's a tool that anyone can have access to and use. So let me shift over, and we're going to take it just step by step. I'm going to show you first my Google Drive page. So pretty straightforward here. If you want to create a new file in Google Drive, you just go to the Create button. We're going to select Document, and because I'm doing it in a shared folder, it's asking me if I want to create and share, but likely yours won't be shared, so it'll just say Create, and I get a new document. So the first thing I'm going to do is title it. I call this Portfolio. And you're presented with a word processing page. Now, there are some real limitations to what you can do design-wise here. And like I say, if you want to get fancy, you're going to want to use something more professional like an Adobe InDesign or Photoshop or something like that. But for, I've always recommended a pretty clean portfolio design, and for all intents and purposes, Google Drive can give you everything you need to put together a portfolio. So some of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to change some of the presets in this document. I'm going to go to Page Setup, and right now it's got margins set at 1 inch because we're just adding images and information about artwork. We don't need margins quite that big, and in fact, for a lot of portfolios, you might even take these margins down to 0 so that you can bleed the images right up to the edge. So let's do that here. Or if you're going to have some text, you want to add your biography or something, you might leave a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch margin, but 1 inch is going to be probably too much to give you the flexibility. Now, another thing you should consider is if you're going to print the portfolio, I'd go ahead and leave the page color white. But if you're going to present your portfolio on an iPad or other tablet, a Nexus or something like that, I would change the background color to a darker shade, either a black or a dark gray. That tends to make the artwork pop more on a digital screen. And since that's what we're going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and shift to a dark gray. And you can always come back and change this at any point. And now I've got a dark gray background. And now the easy part now is to go ahead and go in and add some images. So our first page here is going to be our cover page. And we're going to want to add a large image. I'm going to use some sample images from an artist that I'm working with. Okay, and let me actually show you the whole screen here so you can see how easy it is to drag and drop images in. Okay, shift back over here, full screen. Wrong one. Okay, so you can see that on the left, I've got my document. On the right, I've got my folder open to the images that I want to add. And to add an image, it's as easy as simply going into your document. I would center the image. So click this center button there, and then go to your image and just drag it in. Now, I haven't done anything to size this image, and we're just going to see how it fits in. It may be a lot larger than we need, and you can certainly size it, but even if it is too large, I'll show you that we can go ahead and drag and change the size. So yes, it looks like it fit this one to the width. My height's okay, so I don't need to do any sizing. And obviously, if it were larger, you could go into Photoshop and adjust it to the 8.5-inch width of this page. So I've got my cover image on now. And now, if I want to add some cover text, I'm just going to go ahead. I just hit my right arrow so that I deselected the piece of artwork. Now I'm going to hit return so that I get my cursor. I don't know if how well you can see it there, but my cursor is flashing in the middle of the screen, and I'm going to go ahead and type the artist's name in. Now you can see it's not the right format because we can barely see it there. It's too small, but I'll just highlight it. I'm going to take this up to maybe a 48 point. I could go even to a 60, it looks like, and still fit well on the page. Highlight it again to change the color. And we're just going to take this. I mean, again, you can decide what makes the most sense in terms of design. You can create your own custom colors if you want here, but I'm just going to select something that gives me a little bit of a low contrast, or excuse me, a little bit more contrast. And then you can, in addition, add a tagline if you want to. For our purposes, I'm just going to leave it with the artist's name. Now, this is important. When I want to add another page, I've got my cover now, I want to add my first page. I am going to hit, for Windows, it's going to be Control Enter, and that adds another page in. Now, actually, it added 2 pages because I must have had something coming down on the previous page. Because of the font size there. That's okay. But doing that makes it so that you don't have to do carriage returns down to get to a new page. Just hitting Control Enter, or on Mac, if you hit Command Return, then it automatically gives you a new page. I'm going to go ahead and change my text here back to 11 point and figure out why I've got. Now you can see sometimes I run into, now let's do this then. And Google Drive can be a little bit quirky when you're creating documents, so I'm just going to go down. I created a new line because I've got the font size set to 60. It popped me onto new page. If I take it to 11, you'll see it takes me back to this first page, and now I can hit Control Enter and I get that first page. You're seeing all the warts here in my process, but now I've got 2 pages going. And you can go ahead and select the second one. I'm just going to go ahead and put this image in again. I'm using it on the cover, but I also want to be able to put the information about the piece of artwork. And so, again, I'm hitting my right arrows to deselect the piece of artwork. I hit Enter a couple of times, and now I can put the title of the artwork, the size, medium, and I'll put my price here. And again, you can do whatever you want in terms of design. I'm going to make the title a little bit larger and keep the size, medium, and price a little bit smaller. I want to emphasize the title. And then I could go ahead and go in and put my inventory number for the piece if I have one. And of course, you would be filling all of this in with the specific information about the artwork. And so once I've got this page done, then I can go ahead and hit Control Enter again to give myself a new page. And now I'm ready to add a new piece of artwork. So I'm going to go in and select my second piece of art, drag it over here. Let's see how this one fits. And this one is filling up a little bit more of the page than I might want it to. I'm not going to have enough room to put the information. So this is good because it'll show you how you can change the page or the image size from within Google Drive without even having to do any editing in Photoshop. So if I click and select it, it gives me the sizing box, and I can just drag the corners. Now you want to be careful. If you drag the side or bottom squares here, you're going to distort your image, but by dragging the corner, it keeps it proportioned. And so I'm just going to resize that, and now the whole thing fits on the page. And just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to copy my information here so I keep the formatting. Just pasted it here, and now I could update the title size, medium, and price for this particular piece. And so, you know, again, very easy to create several pages here. And like I said, I could go in, and if I want to, if I decide, you know what, actually I want to print this, I can go back to page setup, change my page color back to white. Okay, now my text is going to be a little bit hard to see because it's so light, so I can just select all of the text, change my font to a darker color, and you can see now very easily I've updated this to be a print format. So that's basically it for the creation part. You can go in and create as many pages as you want. And I'm not going to get into too many details about that process, how many pieces of artwork you'd want. I've done other broadcasts on that about the overall formatting of a portfolio. But like I say, I just wanted to show you a little bit of the step-by-step. Now that we've got this created in Google Drive, if I want to print it, you know, I can just use Google's print option here and send it right to my printer. You'll see that that process looks like this. Now, I'm sending it to a black and white printer, so it's converting it to a black and white. And obviously, if you had a color printer, it would print in color. The other option, though, is to use an online printing service like MagCloud or Blurb. And for those of you using inkjet printers, that's actually a good thing to consider doing your printing over there, because they print so inexpensively that by the time you consider all of the ink you're going to be using to create this portfolio, it might have cost you less to just email it over to them and have them print it or upload it to their site, not email. And so if you want to do that, what you're going to want to do next is output this portfolio to a PDF. And Google makes that very easy as well. I just go to my file option. I go ahead and click into file, and I go to download as. And it gives you a variety of formats that you can select if you want to you know, make this portfolio accessible to other users. If you wanted a Word document, you could do that, or open document. We're going to use the PDF option, though. And this would work for our tablet, for our iPad, or if you want to send it off to a digital printing service, you can use that. So it's simple. Let me go back. I go to PDF document and give it just a second. You can see that it's loading here. What it's basically doing is reloading these images in a PDF format, and now it's going to ask me where I want to save this this portfolio. So I'm going to select the folder that I want to go to here, and hold on just a second while I do that. I'm going to take us over to I took it off the screen because I don't want to show you the mess of my hard drive and all the files I'm going into. So let me go in there. So I'm created a sample portfolio folder, and I'm just going to create it here. I don't need to do anything else. Portfolio PDF is fine for the name. It's asking me what type. It's going to be an Adobe Acrobat, and I hit save. And you'll see that it downloaded here, and now I can show it in my folder. There's that portfolio, and if I open it in Acrobat, I can see the PDF copy. Now, one thing I've noticed, and I don't know how well you can see this, but along the left and top edge here, it looks like there's just a little white line, kind of almost enough to drive you a little bit crazy. That doesn't end up showing up when you go to print the document. For some reason, there's just a little bit of a glitch there where it will show up on the PDF. Now, I also want to show you how you can then use this on a tablet. Now, I'm just going to pull it up on my phone here because that's what I have handy, but you could do this on your iPad or whatever. And so give me just a moment to pull it up. There we go. And it's going to take maybe just a moment to load here. Okay, and another question that often comes up is what app should I use to present my portfolio on my document? And I've actually found that you can download the Adobe Reader app. That'll work to open it. There are a number of different options available for opening PDFs in on your tablet or phone or whatever. But I prefer the Amazon Kindle app. It allows you to open Reader documents as well, Acrobat documents, and I think that it formats them just a little bit better for viewing. So let me pull you back on my screen here, and you're going to see I'm loading the Kindle app. I pulled open from Drive the document, and here is the portfolio that we just created. It gives me the front page, and then it's almost like a page turn where I can go to from page to page by swiping instead of having to scroll, which is what the Acrobat app does by default. So this is a kind of a nice format for you to be able to just do that, and if I tap it, I get the pages underneath that I can then jump to. So like I said, Kindle I found to be one way to look at these and tends to work pretty well. So that's basically it in a nutshell, the step-by-step process for creating a digital portfolio in Google Drive. If you have any feedback about this, leave a comment on our blog, red.blog.com, and I'll look forward to seeing you in future broadcasts. Thanks for joining me.